amazing that all these government agencies are in it now. Where was the school system? Where was the people who were supposed to be protecting them kids other than her?
What?
On the front door of the alleged House of Horrors in Montgomery Village, signs demanding privacy and calling the charges lies.
It's hurtful, and there's nothing I can do. My hands are tied, and I just want to help my child. That's all, and my grandchildren.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. All you want to do is help, right? Hey everyone, it's your sister Olan, and all I need is a few minutes to talk about this story coming out of Montgomery Village in Maryland. So we have these parents here, Cynthia and Dominique Moore. So they are accused of not doing what they were supposed to do as parents: take care of their children, provide shelter, love, and care. They opted not to do that and was supposedly in a dark cult, dark religion, where they would lie in caskets. And I thought it was just them, but according to this article, it's the whole family that did it. So we're going to read this article from WUSA 9. And it says that horrifying new details revealed Thursday in the case of Montgomery County couple accused of taking out their disabled child through medical neglect. Now remember, this happened back in 2022. And after a years-long investigation, that is why they are charging them with second degree. So a judge in Rockville ordered Dominique and Cynthia Moore to be held without bond, thank God, after the death of their transgender son. Because if you go to different articles, it would say their daughter, but it was their transgender son. So it was their son that identified as a girl. And then plus the neglect of the 6 other children. So they're being charged with second degree and plus neglect of their 6 other children. But I thought they had 9 kids. Maybe the other 2 are older, and those were the youngest. Because the one that died was 17. And then the other 6 kids were ranged from 5 to 15. So you heard that was the mother of Cynthia crying, making excuses, blaming people, and not putting the blame where it's supposed to be on her daughter and her husband, because the government is not supposed to be responsible for people's children. Just because in certain, the government may give people food stamps, welfare, Section 8, different things like that. That does not mean they are responsible to take care, provide, and protect your child. That is not their responsibility. So let's place the blame where it's appropriated, if that makes sense. So let's go and see what it says. Detectives say Dominique and Cynthia Moore and their 9 children were living in almost unimaginable squalor. I don't know, maybe the other 9 kids are older. I mean the other 2, because the 5 through 15 are 6 and the one that died was 7. So the other 2 are probably way older. Say animal feces littering the floor, no toilets, no electricity, and nearly empty fridge. So maybe they probably had water in it or milk. It wasn't a lot for all those kids living in there. Police were first called to the townhouse a year ago, and they live in a townhouse, after paramedics found a 17-year-old who reportedly had multiple sclerosis and diabetes. 17 with diabetes. Wow. He was gone when they found him. So by the time they called the paramedics, the child was gone. Cynthia Moore allegedly told them she'd given her child apple juice, and that they choked and collapsed. So allegedly that's what happened. Sure. Okay, that may have been a reason why, it happened. But then why was this child was 79 pounds, a 17-year-old, unable to walk. Well, some of the kids were like, of course they don't have anything to eat. There's barely anything in the fridge. But almost all the kids, they were very, very, very underweight. They were just wasting away. This is ridiculous. This is pure evil. I'm going through this is crazy. So police says there are no records any of them had been to the doctor, received childhood immunizations, or had any schooling. So it's like, were these kids did they ever go to school? Were they ever in the public school system? Wow. 2 other family members over the age of 18. That's what I was saying. That's like the other kids that made up 9 have to be over 18. Are still living in the home. 1 other adult family member was moved away, and the 6 minor children have been placed in foster care. Even though foster care is not good, I'm not an advocate for foster care, but sometimes foster care is way better than staying with certain family members. This is ridiculous. So the public defender alleges police are criminalizing great. She argued for bail for Dominique Moore, saying she had turned his life around and was working full-time for the Parks Authority. She said he's still supporting the 2 children in the home, the 2 children that are over 18, and that they depend on his housing voucher to stay in house. Oh, so they had Section 8. Okay, they had Section 8. So they probably wasn't paying a lot of money in rent compared for a townhouse. Like, say if a townhouse goes for like $2,000, $2,500, if they have Section 8, they're not paying a lot of money. They're not paying, and he probably didn't have a job at that time. So if you didn't have a job at that time, then most likely you're not paying a lot of money. But yet there was no lights and no working toilets. Maybe they didn't have water in the house. And then give them, now the public defender is arguing that they should get bond because he turned his life around just because he got a job at the parks. Whatever. This story is ridiculous. And the story is ridiculous, evil, and very tragic. And it's amazing to me, like, of all the kids that was in the house, why was the one that was trans was the one that was taken up? Trans and disabled. That's the thing. It was not only trans, but it was also disabled. And I'm sure they probably was getting a check for this, for that child that died. But then they were in a cult. Maybe they was giving all the money to the cult. And this was like a death cult. And sometimes in those type of cults, they require a sacrifice, because after the child was gone, then supposedly all of a sudden this guy got a job at the parks. Very suspicious to me. I don't know. But it's very sad. It's very sad. And yeah, that's not a good situation to be in, to be disabled and trans in this family. And even though, yes, the other kids were neglected, they were underweight, probably, except for the older ones that are over the age of 18. This is very tragic. I really hope they just throw them under the jail. under the jail. They don't even need to be in jail because jail is too good for them. They need to be under jail. If there's a place under, they need to make a place under the jail for certain people that commit certain crimes, especially against children. That I cannot stand. Because these kids are truly innocent. You know, they were put in this world for you to care, love, and protect them and provide the basic necessities. You don't have to be giving them extravagant stuff and buying them extravagant name brand things. I mean, just love and care for the child, raise them the right way, provide shelter. And you could even do that because you are mixed up in some type of dark religion and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the sacrifice they offered so they get ahead. You never know. It could be. It's not that far-fetched. But this is sad. And then the mother coming in and blaming the government agency and the school system. I blame you, ma'am, because you were the one that told the news they were in the dark religion. The news didn't know that. So you knew they were in this religion that was having everybody in the house laying in caskets, yet you did nothing, yet you said nothing, yet you did not reach out to anybody. But now you want to blame the government. Now you want to blame the school system. I blame you, ma'am. I blame your daughter. I blame her husband and everybody that knew what these kids were going through and did not do a thing. And whatever you sow in this world, you will reap. You sow your silence. So when you're going through certain stuff, people will be silent. You did not. Now you want to help. I want to help my child. That's a grown woman. That is not a child. Oh, you want to help your grandchildren. Now you want to help. And I want to know who wrote, probably the older kids who wrote all that whole dumb letter, oh, stop harassing and stuff. Nobody would harass you guys if you were taking care of the children. It's sad. It's very sad when you look at, you have 9 kids, 2 older, over the age of 18, and younger kids, and this is what you're doing to them. This is what you're doing to them. And there are people, of course, that cannot have children. But then this is people say, why this is so unfair. How come this happens and stuff like people who want kids and can take care of them. They can't. Some of them can't have kids. And there are people who have all these kids and they're not taking care. So when it's judgment day, when you stand before the Lord, when God asks you, why did you treat those kids like I gave you these kids as a gift? Why did you mistreat them? Because you're gonna stand before you will be judged for what you did, for everything you did on this world. You will be judged. Anyway, this story is very tragic. I just pray that the other kids, even after going through all of this, they're able to thrive and to make it in this world. All you could do is pray, because there's certain stuff that you go through, it's going to be hard to bounce back. But it is possible. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.